Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone is having a brilliant day. Now today guys, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of what my plans are for repotting some of the plants here I've got here in the polytunnel. Now it's nearly September, and at the beginning of this, well, I think it was about March time, I had all these plans to repot a lot of the cacti here. I had a big major revamp and did a big tidy up here, making a lot more space, so there's lots of space around the plants. So when I pot them on into the next sizes up, they're not going to be over cramped. But of course, you know how it's like. Time goes so fast over the summer holidays. I've been majorly busy with so many projects and busy with work and busy with so much. I haven't had time to repot as many plants as I wanted to. And I always recommend that spring and summer and probably early fall is the best time to repot plants when they're actively growing, obviously. But you can repot plants sort of into late fall and even in the winter if you keep the soil, if it's cactus plants now and they're desert cacti, you keep the soil dry and also you use dry soil. Then it's if you repot in the winter, you disturb the roots and you're using wet soil, that rot can set in when the plants are dormant. But it's still only late summer, so there's still plenty of time for me to repot all my plants. And what I'm doing in this video, a little bit strange, I know, but because I have got so many plants, when I come in here, I sort of keep forgetting, think, oh, I meant to repot that, I meant to repot this one. And you know what it's like when you're busy. Your head can be all over the place and never get around to doing things. So what I'm going to be doing, sharing with you in this little bit of a video type of vlog type of thing, I've got these little sticky labels here, these sticky notes as they call it. I've cut them into like thin little pieces. I'm going to sort of start round, I'll probably start this end. Any plants that I really think need to be repotted, that are sort of quite desperate before the winter kicks in, I'm going to be sticking these little labels on. And it means then over the next few days, or the next week anyway, I can walk into this polytunnel every time I have a few minutes spare. I think, well, I've got a bit of time spare now in between everything else. I'll go and pot that plant up. I can just go straight to it, the label will stick out and pick it out. That's what I'm going to be doing, rather than just walking around thinking I've got half an hour spare now, let's see what I can pot up. I did that the other day. I walked in, I thought half an hour free, I was rendering a video, I think let's go and see, I'll do another repotting. And I walked around, I thought, oh no, that one sort of needs repotting before that one, and this one, and just time went then. So these labels are going on. I have a few I need to repot in the yard, but I can't stick labels on them because when the rain is going to wash them all away. As you can see there, that needs repotting. Quite a few others as well, but they're not as desperate as some of these in the polytunnel. Now, some of the plants I'm going to leave probably until next spring before I repot them, because as long as they're not, the roots aren't coming through the bottom and they're not overly top heavy, they can probably wait until next spring. But a lot of them are, as you can see here, this one is practically jumping out of its pot. It's like a big sausage, isn't it? And this one here is pretty top heavy. So that's pretty good signs. I will really need to repot these before the autumn kicks in, or certainly before the winter anyway. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is putting these labels on them. And if you've got cacti and or other types of succulents and you're really not sure if you need to repot or not, sometimes people will say to me, Lynn, I don't know if I need to repot my cactus or my succulent. And I say, well, if the roots, obviously the obvious one, if roots coming through the bottom of the pot, or the plant's very top heavy, or it's looking a bit yellow, or any other reason, obviously they're obvious reasons to repot. But sometimes you can be a bit unsure. Check out a video I've made probably about 3 years ago now, certainly a good couple of years anyway, called How to Know When to Repot a Cactus. And there's a few little tips in there that I share on how to know when to repot a cactus. So do check that video out if you haven't done. The link will be up above, and also the link at the end of this video as well. Anyway, enough of my waffling. I'm going to go through now. I'm going to show you the first 2 to 3 I'm going to stick labels on. Then I'm going to show you the finished result when I've done everything. As I say, these post-it notes, or little sticky labels as they call it. I'm going to go through the first one. I'm going to see that is desperate to be repotted. You might not think it is because it looks perfectly okay there. But this is my Repot albipilosa, and as you can see, the pot is more than ample size for the cactus, but sadly this has not flowered for me for the past 2 years, so there's something going on with its root system. No signs of rot, no signs of bugs, but when a plant clearly has not really grown or done much, in a year or two, when it's getting regular water and fertiliser and plenty of sunshine, then there's a problem. So I need to have this, and not necessarily repot it into a different pot, but I do need to check the root system out, freshen up the soil anyway and see what's going on with it. So that's getting a label, Repot Me. That's the first one. And then the second one here, I have got, yep, this one here is another one again. Again, the pot is more than enough for the right size for this cactus. This is my Mammillaria Carmenera. Isn't it gorgeous, guys? Didn't flower for me this year. Did have a few buds that fell off, so I don't think it's, I think it's just more of the weird weather we've been having. Mammillaria is usually quite freely flowering, but this soil I don't like. This is one I used probably about a year or so ago, and it was a loam base with a bit of horticultural sand, but there's just something I don't like about this. The John Innes that we used, the loam based soil, when I made my cactus mix, is not a good quality one. It was a brand I didn't like. Got a much better brand now, so I just want to change this soil. So that's also going to get a label. And stay tuned, because with these plants, because these are sort of extra special, this one is, oops, extra special here, and the Rebutia I think is a little bit extra special. I'm going to include repotting videos when I do this, because I haven't got a clue what is going on with the roots. So it'd be good to share it when I do. That's got a label. Now, this one here is pretty obvious. I mean, look at that. Look at the size of this. This is another Mammillaria. Now, I've got this labelled here. I can never remember the name. Mammillaria, yeah, Mammillaria Formosa. And this is one of the ones. It always reminds me of a bit like a carpet with all the lovely stripes of furry, lovely hairy white hairs going all around. It's beautiful. This has lovely pink flowers on it. Did have a few flowers earlier. Stop flowering now. It's otherwise a healthy cactus. It's normal for Mammillarias when they grow large to go like this, like a big sausage, and they do tend to lean on the side. So this is actually a healthy plant, believe it or not. But it's way too top heavy for the pot it's in. As you can see, it's in a plastic pot, which isn't very weighty. So this is going to go probably in a big, heavier, not a much bigger pot, probably one just slightly bigger, believe it or not, because it hasn't got big root system, but it definitely needs a ceramic pot that's going to weigh it down. So that's another one repotting for the list. So there we go again. Difficult when I'm filming with one hand to do this. Bear with me, guys. Yep, so that's going to have a post-it label on it there. So there we go. That's going to be repotting. Again, I'm going to share that in a future video. So these are more going to be repotting over the next few days to the next, certainly over the next month. So stay tuned for these videos, guys. Now, these ones I have repotted earlier. So they're done. Been doing quite a bit, but nowhere near as many as I want to do. Now, this one is pretty obvious. Look at the size of that. This is way too large for that tiny pot. And that has just put out all this growth this year, guys. So again, another label. This one is quite desperate to be repotted. There we go, label on here. And I'm going to go through a few more now, rather than bore you with the whole video. I'm going to stop the video, and then I'm going to show you which ones I've chosen that I'm going to be repotting with the labels on. Now, guys, that's me finished with putting all the sticky labels on the ones that I'm going to be repotting. I'm going to quickly show you what I've done here. A couple of labels on these Mammillarias, because these are two cuttings that I took over a year ago now, and these are pretty desperate to be potted on into bigger pots. And let's show you which ones I haven't shown you. Yep, this one here is one of my Echinopsises, and this is a Subdenudata, but it's gone very yellow. And the strange thing about this plant is, as you can see, this is what it's meant to be like, this colour. But every couple of years it goes very yellow. I repot it, there's nothing wrong with the root system, nothing wrong that I can see bugs or anything, and I just freshen up the soil and it greens up again. So this is something I sort of have to do every year. It's a little bit of green at the top, so I'm going to be putting this purely into fresh soil, but potting it back into the same pot again. Just needs a bit of a refresh of soil, and so that's that one there. A lot of them actually don't need repotting into bigger pots, they just need the soil freshening up. This one here is my Hoodia. That's a bit top heavy, lovely flower on it at the moment, as you can see, gorgeous, but a bit of a smelly flower, but very pretty. That one just needs a bigger pot too. And pretty much all the apuntas are okay here. Some of the succulents, as you can see, this one here, this is Pachyphytum oviferum, and that is literally hanging out of its pot, desperate for a bigger pot. May need to be pruned back again also, but that's got a label on it. And here I have my Chamaesyriuses and a couple of my Rebusias. Now these are all, again, nothing wrong with the pot size they're in, but I'm not happy with the soil that they're in because, as I say, I used a certain brand of John Innis a couple of years ago, and I didn't like it. It was a brand by Westland, and I just didn't like the soil. It was fine when I used it, but the plants just don't seem to have done as well in it. So I'm now using a brand of John Innis called Clover, and I'm very happy with it. There's no horrible bits of bark or loads of heavy stones or junk. I even found bits of paper, bits of plastic in the one bag I opened. And those of you who know me, I make my own cactus and succulent soil myself by using 3 equal parts of a loam-based soil, a John Innis mixture, number 1 or number 2 or number 3. And I also then mix it with horticultural sand and either perlite or grit at 3 equal parts of each. And if you want to know how I make my own cactus and succulent soil, do check out the video I have made. Links up above to that. And I'm just going to be freshening all these up with fresh soil and putting them back into the same pot again. And this one here is a recent addition that we got earlier this year. This is Rebusia heliosa, and we got this from our friend at the Cactus Society. He grew this himself from seed. And as he said, nothing wrong with the pot size, but the soil is a little bit stale, so I need to freshen that soil up too. And to show what else I've laid, yep, here, my Lophophorus. As I say, pot size is okay, but I'm going to be potting these up into, that pot's broke anyway, but I'm going to be freshening up the soil on these 2 beauties. I've had these for absolutely years. This one was the very first one I ever bought, and it's possibly, has to be about 25 years old now. When I bought it, it was actually half the size of this one here. Quite cute. So I'm going to be making a repotting video when I repot these, so stay tuned for that, guys. And that's pretty much it. There are a lot more that I will, oh yes, these 2. This one just needs a bigger pot, and this one here, this is my Ariocarpus retusus. That is in the right sort of pot size, but I need to freshen up the soil again. Sometimes if I don't repot them, I like to freshen the soil on them every couple of years. And that's my Luxemburgia principis. That is actually a cactus, believe it or not. It's not an agave. It's natural for it to have these sort of dry bits on. It's had this for years. That's what they do, even in the natural habitats. And there's a little baby growing at the bottom there. And again, this just needs the soil freshening up because it's been in that pot for a couple of years. Just want to change the soil and probably pot it back into the same pot again. And that's really it. So not too much repotting to do. I have got more plans to repot more, but I'll probably leave it till next year, I think. This bowl here is my succulent and cactus bowl garden arrangement. As you can see, it's pretty overcrowded. These mother of thousands calicos go everywhere almost like a weed. So I'm going to prune that out and pot it up and gift it away to friends. But this is going to need to be repotted. I may do that before the summer's over, or even early into the fall, or even early winter if it's kept dry, but I may leave that till next year. Same with this one too. This is looking a little bit overcrowded, this bowl garden, so that needs to be potted on. But it's not desperate. I've just labelled all the ones that are quite desperate and literally either jumping out of their pots or desperate to have the soil change. So I just hope you enjoyed that little bit of a video vlog, guys, and stay tuned for lots of future repotting videos coming up. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. And if you want to know a bit more about how to grow cacti and succulents, if you're new to the hobby, do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of cactus and succulent power from across the Emerald Isle. Look at all these little cactus babies. And until the next video, bye. By the way, guys, these are all what we've grown from seed. Aren't they cutie? That's another thing. I'm going to have to be doing a lot of repotting all of these little cactus seedlings. So a lot of repotting to do. I'm going to be a very busy lady.